part 2 because people need to know about these people. They need to be held accountable. They live in a small town. It's called Nephi, Utah. They got their own court, they got their own cops, they got their own judges, they got their own doctors, they got everything. They know everybody and everybody knows them. If you even get out, if somehow you escape and you make it into town, everyone in town knows who you are. They'll know because of that yellow shirt. They'll know because they always buy the same color clothes, bright colors. Everyone in town knows about it. Black Badger, Christy, the one I mentioned in the last video, she helped me out because I literally passed out on a hike. I just completely went unconscious. I sat down for a minute and just fucking collapsed. And Christy ended up catching it somehow. She ended up noticing that I wasn't moving, and she gave me CPR. And I don't even know if it was the CPR that helped or what, but she tried to save my life, you know. So of course, after that, I demanded to go to the hospital. They didn't want to bring me to the hospital. Christy made them take me to the hospital. Took me to their doctor. Brought me all the way into town. It's about 6 hours away. It's a lot of driving. You're way out there. Their doctor said that I needed a stress test. So I had to do a stress test, and like where you ride the bike until you can't anymore. And they said I had an enlarged heart, and we had never known that before. I never knew that, you know? So in the meantime, they had me stay with Mark Bartle's brother and his family at their house right across the street from the hospital. So I got to know them pretty well. So then, staying at his brother's house, I got special treatment. I got to go eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. They literally took care of me, like freaking catered to me, because they were afraid of getting sued. I was so deprived of food and sleep and warmth and shelter that I was, you know, I enjoyed it and I didn't care. I didn't know that I was being manipulated. But they still made me camp out in the backyard. They still made me do all the stuff I had to do that were in the packets, which they call feathers. Each feather took a week to complete because you had to make all this stuff and, you know, do certain deeds to be able to get a staff member to sign it off for you. And you had to write a journal every day, which, looking back, that was a manipulation tactic. They had us journal and they would read it every day. They do that because they want to know what you're thinking. They also let you write letters to your parents. They don't give them to your parents. They don't tell you that, but they don't give them to your parents. Nope, not until you're real good and brainwashed and you're saying what you're supposed to say. So they brought me back into the camp. And at this point, I've been there over 120 days. I don't know an exact number. I was making tally marks like I was in jail because I was 13. I thought that's what you did. But I lost count, to be honest. You know, I'm pretty sure the number was around 198. So they brought me back into the camp. And at this point, I've been there over 120 days. I don't know an exact number. I was making tally marks like I was in jail because I was 13. I thought that's what you did. But I lost count, to be honest. You know, I'm pretty sure the number was around 198. So we go back, and next thing you know, the weekend comes. I meet with the therapist, Steve. And I'm like, Steve, I finished all my work. I finished all my homework, everything that I was supposed to do. Like, I'm ready to go home whenever they're ready to take me. Steve says, yeah, about that. we talked to your mother and she's agreed. We want to scholarship you for the extended program. They never had an extended program. They literally created an extended program just for me. Honestly, I was 13. I had no idea what was going on. I was just going with it because I wanted to go home. And now that I look back at it, they were responsible for me. The care for me had been signed over to them. And I was just diagnosed with an enlarged heart in their care after passing out on a hike. Yeah, they didn't want me to go home. So Mark and Lee, I'm glad y'all are in jail. I'm really happy. I hope at least one of these videos goes viral so that people can actually understand that this is happening, so that you guys can't just get a slap on the wrist again for freaking murder and then get released so you can reopen the same program under a different name. What are you gonna call it this time? The Dream Catcher or some shit? I switched up real quick when you thought that you might get sued. You wanted to keep me as long as you could so you could brainwash me. And it worked. It took me years of trying, just slowly telling people and then realizing real quick they're not going to believe half this stuff. You know, I'm like, if they don't believe the basics of it, they're not going to believe how detailed it gets. Y'all worry about getting sued, and you know it.